Parkside Cabin Rentals, affordable rustic luxury in the Smokies. Chalets and log cabins, from intimate to grand. In town or in total seclusion, we can fit any need you have. Visit ParksideCabinRentals.com. Plan your vacation today.
Southeast Termite and Pest Control can help protect your home from animals, trapping and relocating wildlife, fixing the damage they cause, and preventing them from invading your home in the first place. Call Southeast Termite and Pest Control and ask about our many services.
The following is a presentation of Fox 43 Sports.
Let's talk Tennessee football. This is the Sports Source Kickoff, presented by Parkside Cabin Rentals. Now, your host, John Pennington.
Good Saturday morning, good game day morning to you, and welcome into the Sports Source Kickoff presented by Parkside Cabin Rentals. Today, it's brought to you by the folks at the Lodge at Five Oaks, but we've got a packed show. Got a lot to talk about as Tennessee gets ready for Charlotte this afternoon at 4 o'clock. Homecoming over at the Hill. We're going to talk with guests to my right that we're going to introduce in a second. Let's tell you right now about the Lodge at Five Oaks. Folks, recently renovated for $6 million. This family-owned property is right in the heart of the dining and entertainment district of Sevierville. It's adjacent to Tanger Outlets at Five Oaks. They got hardwood floors, hickory furniture. It's really homey, really a farmhouse kind of feel. The Lodge at Five Oaks. Do yourself a favor. In this first segment, grab a pen and paper and write down their website, which you will see, thelodgeatfiveoaks.com, right there on the monitor. And now, let's introduce these people that I pointed out were over here. Josh Ward from WNML, Sports Animal, and right there, Jimmy Himes, WNML, the Sports Animal. I wasn't calling you a sports animal. Right down there, we have VFL Shazan Bradley. Thank you all for being here today, and we've got one more gentleman coming up a little later. The Vols come in at 3-5 this afternoon. Need to win 3 of their last 4 to reach a bowl, unless they somehow get the 5-7 thing, which I don't think Tennessee would accept if it came. Charlotte is a surprising 4-4. This was a team that we looked at the beginning of the season and said they're going to be like UTEP, they're going to be like East Tennessee State. This is not going to be good competition. Like I said, they're 4-4. Now, they haven't played a Power 5 team like Tennessee yet, so that 4-4 is against lesser competition, but you never know. They're still much improved. Tennessee, much banged up. Juwan Jennings didn't practice much this week, if at all. Tyler Chandler hurt for most of the week, banged up last week. We don't know how much he's going to play. They moved Jeremy Banks back from linebacker to running back, and Jeremy Pruitt said it's because my running backs are beaten up. Tim Jordan injured as well. We don't know specifically. We don't know an ironclad ruling here. Sometimes Jeremy Pruitt has said, oh, well, we expect him to play, and he doesn't play. So we don't know if these guys are in or out definitively. But if those guys are limited, let's say Jennings and Chandler, 2 of your 3 biggest playmakers, if those guys are limited or out for today, how much does that change your outlook of this game and what you may see this afternoon at Neyland Stadium? Or does it?
Well, it makes it more negative on Tennessee's side. Part of it is because what I think Tennessee did really well last week against South Carolina, what I think some of the strengths of the offense are taken away or limited. And when I say that, Ty Chandler, I think one of the big positives going back over the last few weeks has been his involvement in the passing game. 3rd down throws or contested catches that need to be made by Juwan Jennings. If he's not out there, well, there's somebody that Jerry Garantano has trusted. And it's not that there aren't capable players of stepping in, but that trust factor, the guys that have proven, Jimmy, they can make plays, somebody else has to step up in that role.
Well, Tennessee doesn't have a lot of margin for error, right?
Yep.
And so I think they make an appreciable difference, John, when you take those guys out. I think it does hurt to take not only your best ball carrier, but Ty Chandler's proven to be really good at catching the ball out of the backfield. Juwan Jennings is the only receiver this year that's had a 100-yard receiving game, and he fights for extra yards. So I think that it does have an impact on, I think, what would be the overall performance of the offense today.
Well, you know, it's a 7-on-7 game, basically now. I'd like to see the quarterback take the ball and run just a little bit. You know, we're down 2 receivers, and his timing is with those receivers. So, you know, plus, you know, we get a chance to look at other receivers, which I like shorter, smaller receivers, because they can get off the block a little bit quicker, I think, get off the press and get down and get open. And, you know, it's, I don't know.
I don't think it's going to. The worrisome thing to me is you're not at a point with this program where you don't have to worry about things like this. I mean, it used to be that if you played Charlotte 10 years ago, 12 years ago, whatever it was, if you played Charlotte and 2 or 3 guys had to sit, you'd go, okay, backups will beat them. I hate to say that you're not there now, but you're not there now. I mean, this could make a difference in the ball game, which is remarkable.
Yeah, I think Tennessee can be there, and that there are guys who could step up, like to Shazan's point. I think Jordan Murphy's a guy who he's athletic, has good speed. If he gets an opportunity today, can he make a play? But that goes back to unproven, and it's not as simple as just show up and whoever's on the field can one-on-one beat the players that Charlotte has. I mean, in certain matchups, yes, but there's still that question, a bigger question than we've had in the past.
Let's talk about the offensive line for a second. Last week, and no one would have predicted this one, so this also speaks to somebody may step up today that we're not expecting. Last week, we thought, okay, your offensive line has been a problem this year, and the one guy you could count on was Trey Smith, and he's out, so the offensive line probably won't be as good. It was good. It was probably their best run game against a quality opponent that you've seen all day, or all season. Let's take a look at the 5 guys they started, and the thing is, these 5 went the entire way. They didn't even rotate anybody in or out. These guys were the 5. My question is, and see the big OL for offensive line, is this the solution? Are these guys the answer? And you see their size there, not huge, but they are young. So if you have found something here, the good news is they'll be back next year. But do you think that is the answer, or do you think that was a one-game blip?
I think it goes back to play calling. I do. I think that what they did is what I thought they should have done all along, and that is they didn't ask the offensive linemen to do things they're not capable of. If they line up and just try to run the ball at Charlotte, I don't think they'll run the ball very effectively. They ran some misdirection. They ran some wildcat. They threw short passes underneath, so they didn't ask the offensive line to block very long. I thought it was a really good job of play calling, which I think helped the offensive line. So I don't think the offensive line necessarily is the answer. I think the play calling has to help them.
I think we have a group of brilliant coaches. I really do. These guys seem to work better and do better when they're moving in emotion. So when you're moving in your emotion, I think they're able to, and they're real young, they're able to see the game with just a little bit better. Also, you know, a guy over 300 pounds, in my personal opinion, shouldn't be playing football. I mean, he's not agile enough. Yeah. A big guy is the easiest opponent in the world. He's gonna be there, and I'm gonna throw it. And when I throw it, I'm gonna rock him right up on his heels. When you rock him on the heel, you get right past him. It's just too big. The joint can only hold so much, guys.
Well, it may not be good for them when they're 50. I mean, we had a guy who was with us, J.J. Surlis was with us last week on Sunday, and he's going out to have replacement of a joint this week. So it may not be good on the long term, but boy, you look at that line, that's a pretty small line for Tennessee. I bet you Jeremy Pruitt would like to have some 300-pounders out there, a few more.
I mean, you look at Alabama when they were Alabama. Their linemen went 270 is the maximum.
Look at them now, though.
It's changed, Shazan.
I understand it's changed, but it hadn't changed. It hadn't changed enough for that athlete to be that big. Guys, it's horrible. I mean, I like him big because he's going to be right there, and I'm going to rock him, and I'm going to get on past him. And that's, you know, it is what it is.
All right. When we come back, we're going to talk about the UT Charlotte matchups to watch today. Tyler Wyatt's going to join us, professional handicapper from right here in East Tennessee. He's going to break down 3 areas that are going to be key. Come on back. We'll discuss on the Sports Source Kickoff presented by Parkside Cabin Rentals.
Did you know English Mountain Spring Water has been named the world's best tasting water? That a French competition declared it a gourmet water? Did you know English Mountain Spring Water is bottled in Dandridge? And it's available for commercial and residential water service across East Tennessee. Clear, pure water with no aftertaste. From an East Tennessee source and a local company providing unmatched service. English Mountain Spring Water.
The Lodge at 5 Oaks, conveniently located within walking distance to some of the area's best attractions, restaurants, and shops. Call now for special rates throughout the week or visit thelodge@5oaks.com to plan your next getaway today.
Since 1971, Southeast Termite and Pest Control has offered free inspections, multiple pest control options, and guaranteed termite prevention and correction. Times have changed. Our service hasn't. Southeast Termite and Pest Control.
Under Tennessee law, you're entitled to money damages for injuries caused by the negligence of others. How much money often depends on the diligence, skill, and experience of your attorney. A Knoxville law firm has been helping injured people for more than 30 years.
At Bill Hodson Associates, we've collected millions of dollars from insurance companies that didn't want to treat injured people fairly. Is your case worth more than the insurance company says? Call Bill Hodson Associates and find out.
When it comes to your business, no one provides better security and life safety systems than Safety Systems. Protect your employees, your products, and your records with a single phone call. Professional technicians ready to design, install, and monitor your cutting-edge fire and security systems. Electric locks and surveillance cameras. Emergency and after-hours response and repairs. Trust Safety Systems, East Tennessee's leader in security and life safety systems.
Just 60 miles from Knoxville, adventure meets sanctuary at the historic Topoco Lodge. Originally opened in 1930, this renovated, reborn mountain retreat offers cozy, well-appointed rooms, cabins, and suites, waterfront dining, our warm signature service, and plenty of outdoor sports and activities, all within our riverside, creekside, and forest setting. Experience the historic Topoco Lodge, where adventure meets sanctuary.
Parkside Cabin Rentals. Affordable, rustic luxury in the Smokies. Hot tubs, pool tables, fireplaces inside and out. Our cabins are perfect for relaxing or entertaining. Visit ParksideCabinRentals.com. Plan your vacation today.
Welcome back into the Sports Source Kickoff. This segment brought to you by English Mountain Spring Water, available for commercial and residential service. This water, which comes straight from a Dandridge spring, I've been there, I've seen it. It has been named the world's best water. Think about that. Multiple competitions, international competitions. Yes, zoom in. International taste buds have tasted this and said it is the greatest on planet Earth. Think about that. How good is it? Well, if you're at the Mirage Hotel in Las Vegas, you can order up a bottle of Bling H2O for $90. And the water that is in that bottle, English Mountain Spring Water. Folks, check them out. Check them out for yourself. Call them. Taste them, and what you'll do is you will order that stuff for your home or for your office, and you will be very, very impressed. Good people, too. Great service. English Mountain Spring Water. Want to welcome in the next member of our panel. Right over there we have Tyler Wyatt. It looks like we're on the Titanic. The shot is kind of sideways there. If you could lean, that's good. Tyler Wyatt is over at the 3forthemoney.win board, and what we're going to be doing with you is asking you, as the professional handicapper that you are, to give us some over-unders on 3 areas of the game that could play a role in who wins this thing tonight, this afternoon. Let me get that straight. All right, Tyler, I'm thrown by the fact that we seem to be sinking on that camera shot.
Tennessee fans just hope it's not an omen.
Yes, that's right. Titanic's not a good comparison.
129.5 rushing yards. Tennessee, if you go back to the Florida game, ran the ball really, really well, and then struggled 3 games in a row before last week. Very, very solid performance on the ground against South Carolina. One of the better teams, Charlotte, in the run game. Defending, they bend, but they don't break. 129.5 is the number we've set there. Charlotte giving up just under 90 per game, but this is Conference USA. This is the SEC. We're going 129.5 for Tennessee.
Based on what I saw last week, I would say over. But since I don't know if Ty Chandler is going to play a lot, and if I don't know that Tim Jordan's going to play a lot, and if I don't know if Jeremy Banks is going to put the ball on the ground or not, that makes it a little more iffy. I'll still say over, but not as sure about that as I would be if those guys came in healthy.
Yeah, my instinct is to say under as well, at least first thinking. I'm going to go over. I'll say that Tennessee is able to get a lead in the second half, and in the fourth quarter, Tennessee gets enough rushing yards to go over that number.
I'm going to go over. I don't feel real comfortable with it. I think the reason they'll go over is they're going to break a couple of runs. It may be reverses or sweeps, but I think it's because of a few big runs. I don't think they'll give them a steady dose of 4, 5, 6 yard gains.
I'll be interested to see if they use as much misdirection this week as they did last week.
Yeah.
Because that was a huge element, as you pointed out in the last segment. Shazan, does Tennessee rush for 129 over or 129
I'm going to say over because who are you going to throw the ball to?
Okay.
You're going to have to run to win.
All right, very good. He goes over. Tyler, what should we do?
I will go under. I think there's going to be a couple of short passes, Jared Garantano maybe behind the line, that are broken that you would almost consider run, but I do think that they stay under the 129.5.
Okay, the next over-under number we got is 7.5.
Tackles for loss allowed by Tennessee. Last in the SEC, one of the worst teams in college football, giving up over 8 per game. Charlotte, not great. One of the worst teams at getting to teams behind the line. We set this number at 7.5. It's about a half less than what Tennessee's given up right now. 7.5 tackles for loss allowed.
I'll go over. I think because they were getting stuffed against UTEP and ETSU. So have we seen some improvement? Spotty against Auburn, yes, against South Carolina. But again, if your best back doesn't play a lot, that I think could add up for Charlotte. So I'm going to say they'll go over tackles for loss allowed of 7.5.
I'll go under. I'll say that. Yeah, that's right. I'll say that Tennessee will do a better job within the passing game of continuing to get it out quickly. So let's see where those passes go. If you're throwing behind the line of scrimmage, that can lead to some tackles behind the line of scrimmage as well.
I'm going to go under. They may have 8-yard runs for 0, but I'm going to say under. I don't think they'll have that many tackles for loss against them.
I'm going to say under also. So.
All right, I'm the only one that said they'll go over because I'm just looking at history. What do you got, Tyler?
Like the Titanic, we're going down. 7.5. I do think that Jared Garanzano will throw the ball quite a bit today. I do think he avoids a couple of sacks. I don't think they get to 7.5.
All right, and the last one's 41.5.
Third down conversion percentage for Charlotte. They're one of the better teams in that top third of teams in college football at converting third downs. For Tennessee to make this a pretty comfortable game through 3 quarters where we're not worried in the fourth, they need to convert on third down early. It's a Charlotte defense we mentioned was really, really good. But third down conversion percentage for Charlotte.
All right, I'll let you guys start. But I will say this before you go into it. I will point out that we talked about injuries on the offense. We've talked about the offensive line. We haven't talked about the defense, and last week that game was lost by the defense. So when you're talking about third down conversion rate for Charlotte, you're looking straight at Tennessee's defense. Who wants to start?
I'll start. I'm going to go under. I'm going to go under because you're looking at a Charlotte team that's going with a backup quarterback that hadn't played that much. Reynolds got hurt. They're going with Sharif. He's a transfer from Miami. Because of that lack of experience, I'm going to say he is going to be one of the big reasons that Charlotte goes under.
I'd like to file the fifth, but I can't, so I'm going to say under also. I think Seamus right.
All right.
This one's close. I do wonder how fresh are the players up front for Tennessee on defense. They need to get a rotation in there. I think that's really important for Tennessee. Those seniors on the defensive line have played a lot. Darrell Taylor's played a lot. I'll say under, but I think it's close there on that number.
I'll go under as well. I do think the fact that you've got a backup quarterback is going to impact that number for Charlotte. Where would you go on that one, Tyler?
We're going under. A shock factor of being in Neyland. This is the biggest game that they've had since becoming an FBS member officially. It wouldn't surprise me if maybe the first 3 or 4 possessions are 3 and outs and that they don't convert. Maybe get a couple late, but I do not think that they get to 41.5%.
Okay, very good. When we come back, we're going to tell you Tennessee will win if. What do they have to do to win this football game? And it's probably a little more than just show up. But also, Tyler White has some interesting numbers in terms of what the odds makers think of Tennessee, looking at some of the other big spreads in the nation and how much money is being put toward Tennessee. We'll discuss. Come on back on the Sports Source Kickoff.
Southeast Termite and Pest Control can help protect your home from animals, trapping and relocating wildlife, fixing the damage they cause, and preventing them from invading your home in the first place. Call Southeast Termite and Pest Control and ask about our many services.
The Lodge at 5 Oaks, conveniently located within walking distance to some of the area's best attractions, restaurants, and shops. Call now for special rates throughout the week or visit thelodge@5oaks.com to plan your next getaway today.
Just 60 miles from Knoxville, adventure meets sanctuary at the historic Topoco Lodge, featuring the Topoco Tavern with comfortable seating inside or riverside for lunch and dinner, expanded patio dining, private rooms for events, drinks on the observation deck, and at our multiple bars. Try the Carolina Mountain Trout, a Black Angus choice ribeye, or build your own hand-tossed pizza. Experience the Topoco Tavern at the historic Topoco Lodge.
When it comes to your home, no one provides better security and audio-video systems than Safety Systems. Control everything using your tablet or smartphone, whether it's a hidden TV or the temperature in your home, lighting, doors that open and close, lock and unlock, cameras that allow you to watch your home from wherever you may be, all at the touch of a button. Trust Safety Systems, East Tennessee's leader in security and audio-video systems.
Under Tennessee law, you're entitled to money damages for injuries caused by the negligence of others. How much money often depends on the diligence, skill, and experience of your attorney. A Knoxville law firm has been helping injured people for more than 30 years.
At Bill Hotz and Associates, we've collected millions of dollars from insurance companies that didn't want to treat people fairly. Have you been hurt in a car wreck? Are you being treated fairly? Call us and find out.
Experience you can trust.
Did you know English Mountain Spring Water has been named the world's best tasting water? That a French competition declared it a gourmet water? Did you know English Mountain Spring Water is bottled in Dandridge? And it's available for commercial and residential water service across East Tennessee. Clear, pure water with no aftertaste. From an East Tennessee source and a local company providing unmatched service. English Mountain Spring Water.
Southeast Termite and Pest Control is locally owned, locally operated, handling thousands of commercial and residential jobs all across East Tennessee. Protect your home with a free inspection and estimate from Southeast Termite and Pest Control.
Welcome back into the Sports Source Kickoff. This segment of our program brought to you by Bill Hotz and Associates. Car accidents are serious business. If you're injured in an accident by a careless driver, you need serious, proven attorneys to help you recoup the wages you might lose from time out of work, the money spent on medical bills, etc. Call the folks that I would call if I were in that situation, and that is Bill Hotz and Associates. I know these folks, good people. Bill Hotz and Associates. I want to remind you that tomorrow, over on Channel 6, we'll be there at 11 a.m. As usual, we will have our entire football crew. That's 9 of us, but we're also going to be welcoming in Mark Pankratz and Isaiah Victor to talk a little bit about Tennessee basketball. So there will be 11 people on one show here in Knoxville, which is crazy. But we're going to do it, and it should be a lot of fun tomorrow at 11 on Channel 6. Want to kick it back over to Tyler White, our professional handicapper. I always ask you to give us a freebie, other people out there. If you go to his website, you can sign up for his picks in all sports, and you usually have people pay a fee. But on the Tennessee game, since we're only about 4 hours from kickoff, I'm going to ask you to give us a freebie at 5 hours from kickoff.
Yeah, number opened at 21, 21.5, has risen slowly. 22, the consensus number right now. Total in the game opened at 49, has fallen. Most books 47, 47.5 today. It's a close game. It's obviously a Charlotte defense that has been pretty stingy. But that number we saw, it's about 50-50, the money right now split between the two. Public money is on Tennessee to cover. Sharps are right now on Charlotte at 22, key number 21, a number that is very common, but 22 the Sharps are on. Moneyline right now, $100 bet on Charlotte gets you $850. There are 3 games today that have 21 or 22-point road teams. Those teams are collecting almost 11 or 12 to 1. $100 would win you $1,200 on those teams. A little more focus here. Not saying that it's any more likely of an upset, but Vegas a little wary of how Tennessee has played, and Charlotte coming off a pretty solid win against Southern Miss. All right. Thank you very much. And what is your projection on which way you would go with the line? At 22, I'm going to take Tennessee. I'm going to go against some of my sharp friends out there. I do think Tennessee, with that 22, will get a cover. It wouldn't surprise me if it's a 28-30 type of game, maybe a late score to make it a 23 or something. But I do have Tennessee covering this one. We're leaning Tennessee, not one that we love, but do have Tennessee covering. Okay, very good. Josh, Tennessee will win if?
I think as long as Tennessee doesn't make big mistakes, doesn't turn the ball over multiple times, doesn't commit penalties that can really hurt Tennessee like we saw last week, both before the play and after. I think as long as Tennessee keeps things clean, it may not be a great game, may not be a game this afternoon where Tennessee's putting up a ton of points, but should be good enough to keep a gap between where the Vols will go and Charlotte.
John, I think, and Josh touched on this, but I think playing the clean game with the penalties. Tennessee had 9 penalties last week. They had a bunch of them on offense. They had 5 illegal procedures. They had unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. But here's another part of that, too. If Tennessee starts to take a lead, they can't make a dumb mistake and give Charlotte momentum. And I thought that happened against South Carolina with a particular penalty late in the first half. I think that's one of the things. If you get a team down, don't give them momentum to get back in the game. I think that'd be a key for Tennessee.
Shazan, Tennessee will win if?
We have to win up front and not get a quarterback hit. I mean, this guy's, I know his hair is sore. Just take care of the quarterback, challenge somebody, get somebody, take somebody on, and we'll be okay.
All right, all right. I've got a specific number in mind. Let's go ahead and look at this. The magic number, if we have it. We may not have it. There we go. Magic number 126. Charlotte is 4-1 when they rush for more than 126 yards. They're 0-3 when they're under 126. Tennessee 3-1 when allowing under 126. All 3 wins plus the loss at West Virginia is the one that you dropped. But I think that Charlotte, if they're going to win this game, they're going to have to run the ball. They're going to have to eat clock. And I think if you hold them to under that number, you're going to be okay. You guys are right, though. You can't spend the day turning the football over and committing stupid penalties. You want to take care of the when you've got a tin can, at least that you're supposed to kick over, kick it over. Don't do anything stupid to let the tin can trip you up. When you look at the line, where are you? Because I know somebody who was really dumb on Sunday took Tennessee huge. Where are you guys with the actual line of 22?
Yeah, I'm slightly under. The score I had was 34-14, but
so you're saying take Charlotte. That's what you're telling fans out there. You're telling Tennessee fans that you take Charlotte.
Yeah, but Tennessee fans should love that because against the spread with Tennessee, I've been awful this year. So there's the best news for you, that Tennessee should have a big afternoon.
I'm impacted by the injuries we were talking about earlier. I would also take Charlotte just because I don't know if Jennings or Chandler or Jordan or these guys. I don't see Tennessee coming out and having some offensive explosion. So I think it'd be a low-scoring game. I'd go under on the overall, and I would take Charlotte.
Shazan, you think Charlotte keeps this thing close?
No, I'd take Tennessee. They're going to throw the ball around pretty good, I think, and do okay.
His hair sore.
Pardon me? Oh, he's sore. I mean, the guy's tough. The guy. I mean, and he's as tough as Worley. Worley to me was the toughest quarterback we ever had. This kid's hung in there pretty good.
One of the things we talked about last Sunday a little bit was, has this team met expectations? And I think as you roll into this final month, you need 3 out of 4. Obviously, you're coming off a loss. You played well on one side of the ball. Well, better on one side of the ball. You played poorly on the other side. I just don't get the feeling, and people have asked me this all week, do you think they can do it? No, because I don't have there's nothing that tells me this team's about to go on a roll. Doesn't mean they can't, but is there anything that's giving you a glimmer of hope as we stretch out toward this final month? I don't have it.
No, and one of the things that concerns me, John, is I think that the Tennessee and the run defense has gotten worse. I thought they hit a stretch where they were playing a little bit better, like against Auburn. But what they did was against South Carolina, giving up 220-something yards. And if you take out the kneel downs from South Carolina, they average 6.2 yards a carry. And that's not a real good running team. The run defense concerns me about Tennessee being able to run the table.
Josh?
Yeah, the glimmer of hope that I would point to would be the offensive approach the last few weeks. I thought that was a really good sign in the first half against South Carolina. The defense is what would squash that glimmer of hope quickly. So I think Tennessee has a shot to get to a bowl game and get it done 3 out of 4 in a month. Yeah. I think the odds are against Tennessee.
I said this on your radio show this week. I think that every year if you're a good team, there's always one hiccup. If you're a bad team, terrible team, you still manage to pull one that's like, where did that come from? Last year, Georgia Tech went on to be a pretty good team. You came back on them, put up big numbers, won that game, and then stunk the rest of the way. This Tennessee team, I'm starting to wonder if Auburn isn't the exception to the rule. I know a lot of us, and I think Jeremy Pruitt as well, looked at that and thought, wow, a corner has been turned. And after what I saw at South Carolina, I just wonder if it was or if that was more about Auburn not showing up that day, not playing well.
I think you're probably right. Jeremy Pruitt said these teams are evenly matched, Tennessee and Charlotte.
Scary.
And the Charlotte record's
you
better.
hope he's wrong.
Yeah. Gentlemen, thanks to all 3 of you. Thanks to Tyler Wyatt as well. Thanks to our director, Nick Mooneyhan, who is leaving Knoxville and WATE for a job in Atlanta. He has been a big help to the Sports Source on Sundays, to the Sports Source Kickoff show. A great fill-in director. He's done well by me. I really appreciate him and wish him well. We will see you at 11 a.m. tomorrow on Channel 6, and we will see you next week right back here on Fox 43 at 10:30 a.m. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Fox 43 Sports.